How the fuck goes it? Episode 7.
That's how we run things.
Damn straight. Dude, I'm just in that mood. It's a beautiful day out. Like, finally, we're getting to that around the corner, and I'm good. I don't care.
I agree. I think it's nice enough to not give a shit.
Exactly. It's that, like, total schizophrenic you have when you live in a place that has all 4 seasons, where it's like everything is so dire in the winter. As soon as it gets nice, it's like, no. No.
I could give a shit.
Yeah, I've been completely backwards on it, man. Like, usually, like, in the winter, it's like everyone sleeps as much as possible. As soon as it got nice out, it's like, yeah, forget what you're going to do this morning. You're sleeping 10 hours.
Right.
Go.
Well, the sun. I've taken on. So there's next door, this guy's fence, like a part of it fell down, right? And so I was walking around yesterday morning, and I just got off work, and I was just fucking tired. I was walking around, and like just trying to get some sun. You know, the sun was just coming up, it had been up, but it was blocked a lot by the house, so I had to go stand kind of in the driveway to get any sun. So standing there smoking a cigarette, and I see the fence is down, and I just start walking towards it, and I'm just walking around, like just kind of sitting in the sun, listening to music, trying to write, and I'm like looking for somewhere to sit, and I just lay on the fence, like, and I was thinking what my neighbors must see, like, is basically a man cat, like, where I'm just fucking kind of slinking around in a driveway, laying on fences in the sunshine. I guess cats probably don't listen to a lot of Mad Lib, but that's where I come in.
No,
as
dude,
a human, the human
it's
version.
like that YouTube video where it's like things cats can do that people can't do, and it's just this video of this guy like staring at people, and like they're staring at him, and he's just looking at him, takes a coffee mug, wipes it on the ground, and then runs away. You know?
See, I'm trying to change all that. I'm trying to fuse man and cat to...
Dude, I've been jealous of cats ever. Like, what I want as a pet, I'm a dog person. But I'm jealous of cats. Because my parents had cats. There were so many times growing up where it's walking, had this long day at school, all that, and then you look up and cat's like sleeping on the fridge.
Right.
It's like, you bastard, you just jumped like 6 times your height. Like, get on there
to take a nap.
And yeah, I'm going.
It must be exhausting jumping that high, I'm sure.
Exactly.
That's why they sleep every time. Like, I'm gonna jump on this thing, but fuck, it's taking a snoozer after that one.
Yeah, and then of course as you walk in, they notice something's there, so they just give you their glare. It's like, oh, how's your day? I'm sleeping on the fridge for 4 hours. You gonna feed me yet? What's your problem?
Well, and that's the major difference between dogs and cats is like dogs feel there's a compulsion there to like please, where cats just don't.
You got a pack animal, and you got an animal that's gonna be your roommate, a shitty roommate 9 times out of 10 at that.
I try to get cats to do dishes, and it's just not happening.
Really?
Yeah.
You haven't figured it out?
I've left notes and stuff. They just don't seem to care.
Really?
So, I don't know.
Yeah. See, I don't know. Like, I did the same thing when I was younger, but I mean, my problem was like, they would never put a towel down.
Right.
They would never put a towel down for them to rinse. So I'd have to wipe off the counter. It's like, it's not even worth it. God damn it, kitty. Start paying some rent.
It's really passive-aggressive notes for my cat. It'd be great if somebody that was home all day could take the garbage out.
Right. It'd be totally awesome if someone could not leave hairballs in the middle of the living room.
Right.
Bastard. So,
I was thinking of more.
So before we do an hour on cats,
which will happen at some point.
Yeah.
At some point, maybe not today.
All right.
But I got things.
You're fuming with it. Metal Gear Solid. Go.
Love it. It's dope. I mean, I've always liked the series. I've always really had an affinity for what Kojima does generally, and this thing is just super cool, man. It's just fun. It's pretty. It's just well put together,
Yeah, like I've seen a lot of people commenting like, "Oh, you could go through the game on 10 minutes," all that stuff. Comments, rebuttal.
Super throat karate chop to everyone who ever says that. I will give you $1 billion of your first time through that game, and I have $1 billion. I live in a shithole out of choice. This is personal. This is the lifestyle decision. To anybody that can go through the game on normal in 10 minutes their first time. So it's like, like you could speed run shit and nobody's as you could beat fucking Mario in 5 minutes if
and
if you
once again,
speed run. Or
YouTube
16. I think the
beautiful.
world record for 64 is 16 minutes, but I think it's with a TAS, like it's a kind of a glitch fucking fest. But I mean, they really do beat it in 16 minutes. They just,
I haven't seen that. I've seen the Super Mario 3. Have you seen that? That's a work of art.
Right. Oh yeah.
The
Like going behind, getting the flute, and fucking running the fuck out.
No, he goes and does that. But this guy on the airships, just looks like he's randomly jumping. There just happens to be cannonballs under.
Oh, and he just pops on each of them. And
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's
No, and see,
absolutely
it's like
beautiful.
shit like that. It's like, yeah, you can beat some of the greatest games ever in a very short amount of time, but that's not the point of like the game. And especially
look at all the stuff you're passing up, all the little nuggets
Seriously.
you're missing.
And that's this. I mean, I can understand the beef because I think it's more that people really want just like a fucking 20-hour Metal Gear game.
Yeah.
And they want that long, story. And that's exactly what Phantom Pain is going to be when that comes out. But this is, I mean, it's not, people are like, it's a fucking glorified demo. I'm like, you're a glorified piece of shit, sir, because it offers so much replay value, so many like little nuanced things, so many like calls back to other games. It's ridiculous with the amount of just care that you can see in everything, like the way everything moves.
Beautiful.
They made a new engine for this game,
Right.
And one of the things I think that a lot of people have understated is the fact that it looks, I mean, it's easily the best looking PS3 game, I think.
Yeah.
And it's not even, I mean, it's made for PS3 and Xbox inherently because of trying to get it out for PS4 and Xbox One. The target consoles have to be the old consoles because that's the one that has to at least run nice,
Right.
So, you look at it on PS4 and it looks great, but shit, man, when like after Phantom Pain, the next thing that they work on that's solely devoted to the next gen consoles is going to blow fucking minds, I guarantee it. It's going to look so fucking cool that people just ain't going to believe it.
I think most people, their disappointment or whatever stupid complaints they have about it is that they just don't understand what it is.
Yeah,
and what this, like, way I see it is this game is the equivalent of when they did the whole Matrix trilogy and a Matrix.
Yeah,
it
is.
In
it's
there,
like this little fucking...
It's a little bit of a holdover, but it's also a little bit tribute to what's going on. It's going to fill in some gaps. And, like, that's the biggest thing where people who are knocking on this game is just what you show me of it. It is beautiful.
It is.
Like I know the biggest thing you were going nuts about was the cinematography. Like it shows such mastery of what Kojima is doing in the sense where it's like, yes, you have this whole beautiful world you could show, but no, we're going to do a first person view. We're going to show you glimpses.
We're going to do it stylish. Like we're going to make it fucking cool to look at and use interesting angles, fucking focus on certain things. Like there's
the amount of storytelling through the camera work.
Just through visual work is amazing, And then even the dialogue I think is great. The voice acting, I think the switch to Kiefer Sutherland kind of irks me.
Really?
But oh yeah, man, because fucking David Hayter has been Solid Snake for since 1998.
You're having the identity issue. You're not feeling able
well,
to
it's because
identify.
And it's I think there's a tonal change in this game, and that's what Hideo's been talking about. Like he's gonna be more raw with shit, and he's gonna show things that are not easy to look at. He's gonna push boundaries like an artist should. And because, it's one of those things I think that holds back video games in certain senses. Because movies have been getting away with the shit that he shows in this demo. And you haven't, there's some shit in that game.
Oh, I imagine.
Yeah, and just even in this little brief glimpse, and he says the Phantom Pain is supposed to contain a lot of it. Even, the trailers they show where... So basically what happens is this is a prologue to what happens in the Phantom Pain. And the Phantom Pain, Snake's been in a coma for 9 years since this prologue, and him waking up and a lot of his muscles not working, and so just crawling along the floor and in this hospital while it's being attacked.
Nice.
Like it's and that's another part of how powerful.
What a great amount of suspense they're building.
Oh, right.
Through that, keeping you limited but still putting you in this crazy situation. Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome use of foreshadowing at the same time, getting that heavy suspense because you're so limited, and then how great that's going to be when you're finally in full game mode.
Right.
After that.
And one of the things is that I think people that play this will automatically have kind of an advantage and feel more comfortable because of the redefined controls. Like, so when they jump into the Phantom Pain, they will be, you know, adept at being able to play the game. Like, they'll have, and the controls are different for Metal Gear. There's a lot of things that they keep similar, but there's a lot of things they change, and it's all for the better. I'm thinking, like, they bring the kind of the real complexity and detail to being able to manipulate your character in a ton of ways, like diving, rolling on your back, you know, hanging from things, choking guys out, sprinting. Like, they do all this, and it's all really smooth and works so well. And that's a lot of what Peace Walker did, I think. It was like shrink down some of the technical stuff, make it really the barrier and you know, trying to get into the game, make that entry level just perfect for people that aren't really used to the series. So I don't know. I think it plays awesome, and so when Phantom Pain comes out, I can't wait because I'll feel like at home with the controls.
Yeah,
I know all of it. Like,
well, and the thing I love about that is the synergy between like what they're showing, how the story's going to go with what you were saying about it being more realistic. Like when you go and just get that first vibe of it. We were talking about this a little bit before the podcast. Is it has part of it has to do with the period they're in. But it has a little bit more of a Splinter Cell set in a real world vibe than it does in the past, where they go and focus, I feel, a little bit more on like the futuristic vibe.
Well, yeah, no, I mean,
but the synergy of going and streamlining the controls to have your actions be more realistic, more real world based, and stuff like that. That synergy of just what they're showing and setting up for how you play, I think that's.
Yeah, and it's exactly the idea where you can climb what you think you can climb. You can get over barriers that you think you can get over. There's no invisible walls. There are like parts of the map that you can't go past because you're leaving the mission area, and then that's how they deal with boundaries. You know, there's like, hey, you're gonna leave the mission. That's essentially you know what they're saying, and so that's cool. It's just a really cool defined space, and I've played through. There's 5 missions total. There's a one for PlayStation and Xbox players that is unique to each console, and that one for the PlayStation ecosystem is fucking awesome. It's called Deja Vu, and it has you running around and trying to recreate scenes from the first Metal Gear.
Really?
So seeing a camera. The first part of Metal Gear Solid, where there's the helicopter pad. There's a helicopter and 2 guys standing right next to it, and then there's a flashback and a piece of dialogue that goes with it. There's one where you see like a surveillance camera, and he goes, a surveillance camera, just like the old games. Nice. And it was just like really cool to see them like.
This game is hidden with these little nostalgic Easter eggs and
all
treats.
over the place, and it's really cool because Metal Gear Peace Walker introduced a lot of just a ton of dialogue in the form of these tapes that you could find. Right. And they were from Chico and Paz generally, but there's also ones from Miller and all these other people. And so it was being able, it's similar to like the audio logs that were left in like BioShock and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
And you can listen to them at any point, but there's a ton of them, and it gives so much backstory, and it reminded me a lot of what happened in Peace Walker, and I actually went through and watched a lot of the cutscenes from Peace Walker again to get kind of more familiar, because this takes place directly after Peace Walker. I think Peace Walker is 1974, this is 1975. Yeah. And it's fucking dope.
That audio log approach that you're talking about, that's something I've always appreciated, because it does 2 things there. Like, yes, it's a clever way to keep gameplay going while still giving you backstory without, having any sort of cuts. But I think the thing it does more powerful than that is it goes and gives you backstory, but at the same time creates more emotional investment in what's going on and feel for it, because by having people doing these audio logs, in addition to getting the backstory with it, like the voice acting they have you do on that, you get the feel for it. You get, like I said, when
it's good voice acting, it like really does make a huge difference.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And I mean, like I totally understand what you're talking about with the Kiefer Sutherland choice. I think it's one of those things where obviously I don't think they would have been able to get him back in the day just because people didn't put the same importance on video games. But yeah, it sucks because you're breaking that identity. But Kiefer Sutherland's voice does really match that character.
I think, and they did also a lot of they did facial capture for him too. So
So you can see him in Snake a little bit, huh?
Yeah, you most definitely can. I mean, it doesn't look just like him, which they can make happen. There's actually a really fucking funny Easter egg in one of the missions. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who plans on playing it, but it made me laugh out loud. And it's something that Hideo, like, that's the kind of shit he's known for, where it's like, you make this really ultra realistic setting and these like grizzled characters, and then you do super goofy shit on top of it, and it like so it pops out, stands like,
Yeah.
like it's like, so I don't know, some of the shit is just, it's fucking hilarious, man. I love it. It's like just it's like just my taste. Like,
yeah.
The amount of like Kubrick references in Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, like,
really, like, what do they do?
There's audio logs that talk about Space Odyssey. They talk about what else? Strangelove. One of the characters are named Dr. Strangelove.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's this lady scientist, and her name is Strangelove.
Interesting.
And yeah, the dude and the team seem to like all the things I like, and vice versa. Like, I'm just all about that kind of shit. Like, awesome art. My favorite artist is the guy that does art for this game. Like, I saw his style, and I was like, I can't believe how fucking cool that is. It's so unique, and it's just like, I don't know.
It's a game that's cool,
and the music is fucking amazing.
That's the best thing when you go and find some sort of entertainment that almost grows with you.
Yeah,
like I think you found with this, where it's like, not only is it that base where we're in the same interest, but like it continually goes where it's like, my God, are you guys synced in my brain?
Seriously, in terms of like how the game plays, how it looks, how it's shot, the music used, and just the styling of it. It's like, it's like to read my fucking diary. And
seriously,
we're gonna make a game.
For people who are kind of fringe video gamers, but you're really into other media and stuff, like, dude, this is so the franchise to get into, because you're gonna see what we're talking about. Like, it's a new form of media. It's a new form of storytelling. It is. It's a different way to do entertainment. It's, you're not crossing the street as Frogger anymore, people.
Right. No, this is, I mean, it's a fucking, what a crazy story, that frog, but,
Dude, but sometimes that stuff's addictive. Like, oh my God, someone put me onto this 2048 game. You played this? It's terrible. I'll show you after. All it is just blocks with numbers on it. And you put the blocks
I heard about it.
To where it adds up, and your goal is to get to the number 2048.
Yeah, I've saw some stuff on it.
Oh, like you ever get a game that is, when you play it within the first 5 minutes, you're kind of pissed because you know how addictive this game's going to be?
Yeah.
It's one of those, and there's nothing to it. Exact opposite of Metal Gear Solid. There's nothing to it. It's just...
Well, that's how cool the spectrum of games are, right? Like, you
it's
can
a
have...
beautiful thing.
You can be adding, or you can be a fucking... a major in espionage and shit. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, it's... When you know what you're doing with whatever it is you do, you get to a certain point to where you realize all the different things what you do can be.
Right.
Whether you're talking about making video games, you can make such an array of that. Whether you're talking about someone being an artist, like, you can go ahead and you can make paintings and you can put it in a gallery. Or you could sit there and look at it more, making it in a design sense and making it useful, something like that. Or you could go political with it. Like, it's only limited to you.
Right. That's what we were talking about Queen earlier. Freddie Mercury said he loves music because it's limitless.
Exactly. And you see that in his music. You see the fact that he does a song like We're the Champions, So Opus, or Bohemian Rhapsody, where he goes and they get so caught up, not just technically, but with this whole music, like operatic to musical vibe, where there's so much invested in the story and stuff that they set up, and then Stone Cold Crazy. Like, a band like Queen shouldn't make a song like Stone Cold Crazy.
But
like that, that song is so raw. So even We Will Rock You, to a sense, is so the opposite spectrum of what they do. So opposite what you would think from the character you see with the guy like Freddie Mercury. That that's the stuff that just boggles the mind. That, and oh man, I can go off that forever. Like, the forethought and the experimentation that they have in songs like Killer Queen, like their use of like little effects and ad libs and play on it. It's awesome.
It is.
And I mean, that kind of segues into another thing we were talking about, which is, when you get into what it is you do, you could be so many things. And a lot of people with what we do, freestyling, writing, rocking crowds, all that stuff, they go and try and box that into MC or rapper. And I don't know. I just kind of want to know your opinion. We'll just start it there of what one is versus the other. Because, I mean, I've been going and kind of analyzing that question a lot. And seeing
about the difference
what's an
between
MC and then what's a rapper. I've been going and analyzing that question a lot and then going and seeing other different people's opinions. And it's so all over the board. Like, I don't know. I'm getting disenfranchised with the whole classification just because, I don't know. I feel like to have a set thing of like, you are this, you are that.
I don't think anything's that black and white, right?
Right.
I think that there are people that I would consider rappers that have hip hop qualities and likewise.
Yeah. So what's an MC to you?
I mean, an MC is more about reporting like realness and being like a street journalist in a way.
Okay.
You know, a journalist maybe not like on the street, both like physically and mentally, like being honest and being raw as you need to be, and it doesn't mean that that you can't be a rapper too in terms of being more
So what's a rapper do that's different?
maybe more abstract, probably a little more egocentric, abstract and more material based, instead of like saying how good you feel because you accomplished something, saying the things that you got from it, you know, like
See, this is what cracks me up. Like, it cracks me up, but I think it's really cool is I'm starting to get to the point where I'm realizing what the difference between an MC and a rapper thing is a personal thing.
It's not a set
Everybody's
thing.
Like, people act like it's a set thing where it's like, oh no, he's an MC. Oh no, he's a rapper. But there's so many different ways you could tackle it. Like I believe like KRS-One, something he was saying on the whole thing is his point of view, and this is kind of the one I go to, is honestly it has nothing to do with content to a sense. Like, that's the way I see it. Like, because what you're into is what you're into. Like, his ideas is like Cab Calloway, James Brown. Like, his idea is James Brown being the first MC there was. Because the MC, like, that definition isn't necessarily what it's about, but how you do it. When the MC gets on there, he's making that connection with the people. He's a person who works in an open space and gets the party going, gets it all set, get them to feel the call and response. Meanwhile, the rapper just kind of goes, this is what I wrote, ... done. And I mean, that's what I think is so cool is like how people go and have inflections of themselves on it, what they see. Like, I feel you could be a conscious rapper.
Right.
You know, and like that's where I kind of feel like what you're defining is, all right, are you topic-wise a person who goes and looks at society, or are you looking at things?
Maybe this is a better way for me to describe it. I think
well, if that's your definition, go with it. I'm no way saying that you're wrong.
I mean,
like
it's what
it's a personal
no, exactly.
thing.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. It's totally relative. I think that maybe this is the definition to me is like somebody that uses an alias, right? Like Jay-Z, for instance, is a moniker for Sean Carter that is not him. It's a mentality, right? And I think that's more of the idea is that I go by Nobe, but that's who I am.
Okay.
You know, like this isn't a like another version of me. This isn't a you know, where how Lupe, for instance, will go and be a cheeseburger, right?
Right.
In a rap, which is, you know, you could still do that, you know.
Yeah.
You could be a cheeseburger if you want, but
I want to see that video of just
Right.
the cheeseburger flapping. Like,
that'd be cool. Yeah, and I think maybe that's the difference is when rap is more like an abstract expression, or I think that's what it is. I think it's more abstract expression about things that you might want or have, but it's not so much connected to reality, where I think MCing, when they break away from reality, like it's more it's just more about real things. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
really hard to.
No, it's a trip. Like, here's how I've kind of separated it. Here's how I've looked at it. Is, like I said, content, that's you. That's what you're putting out there, who you are. And with your content you have and the things you have to say, you could go either way with it. I've always looked at it like this, as we all start as rappers. Writing rhymes, falling in love with rhyming, with the beat, stuff like that. Meanwhile, and making rap music. Meanwhile, MC I almost see as that journeyman position in getting there, where it's like, yeah, you can write a rhyme, you can go and do that stuff, but you also know, like, even in the booth, not even dealing with people, you understand how to control your breathing, get it set, so you're not going to be taking big gasps in between bars where it's not necessary.
You
like
respect the science of it.
Yeah, you respect the science of it. That, and you've put in enough time and you have enough understanding of people to where when you're on stage, you're not standing there. You're talking to people. You're dealing with it. Like,
It's the master of ceremonies.
Yeah, exactly. You're going more into
And that's
that
the thing, is you
master
start off as a
ceremonies
rapper
part.
and then you turn into the master. And that's
exactly.
That's
like,
right.
that's kind of the way I see it. And I mean, you can have guys
Feel
who
that.
are like, you could have guys who aren't doing shit the proper way and be an MC. Like, for example, I feel like Bun B, like, he's gotten to the point now where he's going and teaching classes and stuff like that. But when they were UGK, Pimp C, Bun B, they were MCs. Like, they weren't necessarily always talking about the best stuff, but they knew how to get that shit hype. They knew how to get that shit going. And then, but at the same time, you have like a guy who, someone could go ahead and be a rapper and still be on the conscious tip. Like, example of that, honestly,
I think not Lupe, but I think Kendrick is pretty close for me. Like, his
Right.
style is raw, and he
Well,
spits quick, but he does talk about, pool full of liquor and stuff like that. I think are dope songs,
exactly. And I
And-
mean that gets to the other point of like
They're very-
it being a personal definition and not something we could all put out there, because I almost feel like judging him as just a rapper as opposed to MC. I can't say that because I haven't seen him do a live performance. I haven't seen.
Well, seeing
that's
him at
why
the fucking Grammys was crazy.
that was beautiful.
That shit was awesome.
Yeah, it was fantastic. The way he met those guys in the middle, let that.
Yeah, the beat was heavy. It was just perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's why I think it should be a personal definition and not something we all go and state, because, okay, only you know whether you're an MC or not. Only you know how you've handled it when the shit hits the fan on stage. Only you know, like, yeah, right now, let's freestyle, go.
Yeah.
And go and do that.
Well,
like,
I do think that the idea of trying to define these things, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's not nearly as important as what people say. That's the way people, like, if somebody's like, I'm an MC or I'm a rapper, I'd be like, well, I don't really care about that. Let me just hear you. Like,
exactly. Like, something that this kind of like got me onto this path was some Facebook bullshit where someone put there his opinion of it, and I personally agree with it, where he's like, honestly, you can't truthfully call yourself an MC if you have no freestyle game.
Right.
And guy gets up there and he's like, no, that's bullshit. I'm an MC, but I don't freestyle. I do this, that, and the other thing. And like, they go like, dude is seriously offended. And it's like, well, if that bugs you, then learn to freestyle.
I've heard a lot of people say that freestyle, like, I mean, there's a debate about that, I think. Like,
well, I mean, because for me, it goes to, like we were saying, like, you are now at the master position. If you're at the master position, if you are a black belt in a martial art, all there is of all the moves and stuff like that, and you know how to set them in different situations, and you know the best way to get that angle. You've gone and mastered that craft. And I feel when it comes to rapping, there's so many different methods of doing it on a track as to whether you write it or whether you go freestyle. Oh, that one was no good. All right, let's go back. And then
the idea that you can edit it
way.
can always be perfect,
Yeah. Like, you've gone and
that's the
found the
opposite of a
different
show.
forms to do it, the different ways to show to where you got it.
Well, and it's like on a track you can reach you can be as close to what you held as perfect as possible, and that.
Right.
But the game is playing a real show and trying to reach that same perfection level and not have the opportunity to be like, oh no, we're gonna try that one again. Not to say that we haven't done that once in a while, but
Right.
like,
Well, that and sometimes, and that goes to being MC because
with
you
being
guys
cool
gauge
with
the
it.
situation
Yeah.
where it was there, and you kind of make more of a connection or more of an impression on the audience because you guys are up there, you're killing it, it's smooth. You get on one right off the first bat, just like
Yeah, right.
something just goes, whether it's one of the musicians or one of the vocalists, and it's like, all right, let's do that
Or
again.
technical difficulty or whatever happens.
Yeah,
Like when we were playing up at Curlew, man, we had the worst fucking noise coming out of the speakers when I was rapping. And it happened 3 times. It was just for like a fucking, like maybe 10 seconds.
What'd you do with it?
Played right fucking through it.
Yeah.
We just were like, fuck it. We know it's like a ship just crashed here, but we were running it, man. Like, no tugboat's going to stop my game. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Like, you've gone and done enough live performances where it's like, okay, this shit's going to go down. Like, any guy going out there trying to rap and stuff, you're never going to have the perfect setup until you get to the point where you're touring, you got your sound guys doing it, all that stuff. You're going to have to go through all these little hidden obstacles to the, like, that's the game, is you're going to get to a club and that club sound system may be shit.
all right.
Or there may be something wacky about the way they do stuff. For that stage, you can't move or do anything. Well, if you are an MC, you've gone through enough situations where you know how to either make those hindrances become an advantage for you or to push through.
You got to be an MC is a Mick Guyver.
Yeah, exactly. MC Guyver.
MC Guyver.
Word. Someone use it. I love it.
Immediately. I might have to use that as a alter ego. I'll talk 3 octaves lower.
Yeah, you can come out and like feather your hair and be wearing a leather jacket. And then at random intervals, just duct tape things.
Just let me fix this. Just everybody bring the shit you need to get fixed. I'm gonna fix them at the show. And I'll rap too.
All right,
I'm rap while I do it.
So I'm charging you guys $300 for the gig, and then that's $10 an hour to get your cell phone working. So add it all together and hook it up.
Right.
Beautiful.
I dig it.
Yeah, dude.
1,000%.
So do you think there's a negative connotation to being a rapper?
No, I think I used to say it with that connotation, but now I'm kind of over it. It's like they're just points on a graph, man. It's like they're perceived points on a graph to me. There's a scale. It's fucking, MCing, rapping, and then there's like technical ability and content, and you're somewhere in there. And I don't think. Yeah, I don't really even care as much anymore. It's like, it's really like I'm gonna listen to you, quote unquote MC or rapper. Like, if your shit's good, I don't care.
Yeah.
If you say cool shit and your beats are cool and you like express something worthwhile of expressing, then I dig it.
Yeah. Basically, that's it. I mean, if your shit's good, your shit's good. The only tweak I would kind of go to my own personal definition, this is one I'm still figuring out, is the place of hip hop with being an MC versus a rapper. Because, I mean, the music we make, that's rap music, part of the hip hop culture.
Right. Well, I think people think rap is more like gangster. Like, I generally like think of trap. I mean, I think it's not so much a definition solely on the idea of like what a person's content or style is like. It's also the kind of music you're in front of, and so
it's genres, and we're afraid.
Yeah.
Like people do.
Well, and I think
people have conscious. People have, like you said, trap. People have crunk. People have gangster, and they're putting that as, oh, those are the set genres. Dude, this shit started in the late 70s. We haven't even gotten close to exploring said genres.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, we're just now getting to the point where guys are getting like really out there with it.
Being freaky and I think that's cool, man. Like, and I just the idea of labels is funny to me. I remember when people would be like, go into some rock show and they're like, I'm like, oh yeah, what kind of rock is it? They're like, oh, it's ska punk / hardcore thrash metal.
Oh, that's the best.
With
That is the best.
undertones of the fiddle. There's a fiddle in there somewhere. You can barely hear it. I think the guys in the bathroom playing it. They want a scent.
A dude came up to me. He was like, "Well, no, my group we're all emo, or like borderline screamo," and I was like, "Okay, like you need to show me on the graph where this is emo, but this part is screamo."
It's like sad and crying about it, like right, like
yeah.
I mean, wouldn't that be like emo's
I
always more like personal,
a little bit, but then I stopped. I was, I got midway, but I decided to hold it back.
The emo / screamos, you don't scream all the time. Is the idea? You scream some of the times. There's times you need to scream, I guess,
right.
And then the rest of it's very solemn.
And then where does your screamo not become metal? Is it because of the pitch of your voice?
Right.
Because you don't have this James Hetfield like, and instead you sound like.
I would like a screamo band, a screamo / psychedelic fucking Beatles band.
Ooh.
Everybody with bowl cuts and suits, and then just fucking screaming.
No, lost me.
And a lot of and maybe some electronic, some EDM in the background there.
No, one of these bands needs to go up and say what genre each of their songs is before they go and play.
Hi.
This song will be in the style.
We're big Death Blood, and our style is
South African death metal.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I actually saw
Some
this really. It was on Vice. This documentary this guy's going to be having coming out, but it's the Syrian metal scene. And it is so interesting.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like,
wasn't what's it called from Syria? System of a Down, or where were they from?
No, those guys. First of all, I believe they're all first generation, born in the U.S. Some of them may be over, but they're really close. They're originally from
It's not Middle East. It's in
Serbian.
Europe.
They're Serbian.
Are they Serbian?
I believe so. Here, look it up real quick. I
gotta
go on, but I believe they're Serbian. But that's another cool thing is how you see their influence in it. But anyways, check it out. Syrian metal scene. The documentary's coming soon, and it was one of those things where it actually kind of reminded me of places like Serbia, where of course metal's going to be coming out of this place because they're talking about setting up gigs and going and canceling gigs or being careful about not getting the word out there because they know if people know it's a real big grouping of people, they may get shelled that night. So of course metal's going to come out of this place where it's like life and death so hangs in the balance. And that's one of the places where I really feel like that genre of music so is an embodiment of the world they live in. Syria, like heavy metal music where you're doing Syria. But the thing that's craziest about it is these guys are so unable to fit in their time and stuff like that these guys are doing Sepultura covers. They're not doing original stuff. Because it's like, all right, go out, get this. We're going to do 20-minute, 30-minute show, and then we get out. And it's like, oh, my God, I can't wait till these guys get a little bit detached from it to where they can really put in what they have to say. Because that point of view of growing up, and because they've been going at it for 5 years, so you grew up when it was all good. And then you saw it where it got kind of sketchy. And then you lived through it as a 20-year-old or as a late teen where you're in this complete war zone with memories of peace and going and putting on the fucking Mastodon while you're walking through these rubbled streets that you used to play I can't wait for that.
By the way, they're Albanian.
Okay,
but
that makes sense.
I'm sure Albania's had its troubles as well.
Yeah, no, they have. And all right, that makes a lot more sense. The thing I love with them is just how much of their culture they put into their music.
Especially the style of singing that Darren has.
Right.
I think.
Darren and Serge. Like Darren is one of the greatest quotes I've ever seen in a magazine. It's Darren from System of a Down, one of the players from Slipknot, Kerry King from Slayer, and I want to say Dave Mustaine, but I'm not sure. But they're like, all right, you guys are all great metal guitarists. What do you guys go and play when you're just ready to unleash. Like, you know, like you get home, you just want to crank the amp up and just metal out. And all these guys are naming these songs. And then they get to Darren, and he's like, all right, you go on overdrive, you crank it up, and you play Beethoven's Fifth, and it is the gnarliest shit you'll ever play in your life. Like, that's how the dude rocks out. Like, that's his influence going into metal. And you could totally hear it. Like, it's just a reinvention of the genre. And, like, once again, like, that's what I get excited about when it comes to writing my own stuff. Is, like, of course, you want to go and, like, experience all these things you've seen in your genre or seen in what you do, but it's, like, I want to redefine, like, go out there, and it's crazy because it's awesome, but
because you get to first and foremost, I think that it's awesome that we get to express ourselves to the point that we can maybe change things, and like the idea that there is no box if we don't want there to be.
Well, no, really, the only box is how much you're going to be able to deal with it in the beginning, because the first times you play it, unless you got a really good marketing or you found a way to get in super good, people aren't going to feel it.
Right.
I mean, think of some of your favorite, like, at least for me, some of my favorite albums. I didn't know how to feel about it the first time. First time I listened to Kid A, I was like, well, this isn't OK Computer. This is different. Like, this isn't right. Da, 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 da. But, like, but then it got to the point where you listen to it the second time, you're like, well, this one part, that was really interesting. I want to check that out. Right. And then third or fourth where you get it, you know, like where you kind of realize that this band has evolved and you're moving with it. Like,
I think I was actually thinking that today. I was listening to Magna Carta while I was sweeping up the garden bed full of cigarette butts and old leaves. And I was like, thinking about like people judging and like the judging that I've done of people in terms of like, man, I wish you got, you know, I wish Jay-Z rapped about this. It's like, fucking, how dare me to even like it's his.
Why?
Yeah, like why? I mean, fuck. Yeah, I might want, you know, him to sound like how he did in like '93, but like he doesn't. So what the fuck do I? You know, what's my opinion matter to this dude? He ain't writing albums for me. He's writing albums because that's what he likes to do, and that's how he's making money.
Yeah, I get that. I also do think though.
I don't think he has.
I mean, it's an evolution of that's it. Like, the music's going to be an evolution of the band or the person that goes, and sometimes people don't always evolve the way you think they're going to. Sometimes
and
it takes a left.
And no artist has any fucking responsibility to anybody for doing what they want, you know. And that's
it's only the responsibility I feel they put on themselves. Yeah, and like especially nowadays, the biggest trend you're seeing in rap music is guys making sequels to these amazing albums they have.
Right.
Or like cats like Jay-Z, like, you know, finishing out the quadrology, that stuff. And that's when I think you get put in pressure. Like Nas is talking about doing Illmatic too. And that I feel justified in saying, all right, well, I expect this and that and the other thing. I don't expect if you give me hip hop is dead and call it Illmatic 2, I'm going to be pissed.
Right. Well, you know, it's like what Eminem did with his new, you know, Marshall Mathers 2. It's like, I listened to it and I was like, it's all right. But, you know.
I do, and that's one of those things where if maybe he didn't put it as Marshall Mathers 2.
It would have been a better album because there wouldn't be any preconceived notion of meeting
because they're doing something cool in that album. If you pay attention to
he's fucking around and he's like, I like it, but it's just
it's loosely a concept album.
It doesn't bring back any memories of the old album. Like it does, but they're like kind of shitty. I'm like,
those are the ones where you could tell, like, okay,
they're trying too hard almost.
Yeah,
like, or Eminem's trying to.
He tried going to old Eminem, like the one that starts off with the chainsaw ad.
Mm-hmm.
That one sounds like, okay, they're trying to go and channel that younger Eminem and stuff. Meanwhile, like, if they went and let it do its thing and stayed with this loose concept they had, and this loose concept they had is like a lot of the songs is him going and revisiting stuff that his parents were listening to when he was a kid.
Right.
They're doing a whole lot of 70s, 60s, 80s of popular songs, sampling, and then a lot of times I feel like clever sampling, like that one with Kendrick. I thought that was really clever how they did that.
Well, see, and man, I watched that fucking music video, and that was like what kind of bummed me out, man.
The Berserker one?
Yeah, it was like totally all about Call of Duty and shit. And I was like, fuck.
Oh, we're talking about something else. You're talking about probably Survival Track. That
Yeah,
track I just
something like
didn't like because I feel like they were trying to recreate a song off his last album.
Right.
They were trying to go and recreate that shit with Pink, that Can't Hold Me Down or whatever.
Yeah.
Where they just go with the the drive, which is cool. Like that beat, I dig. Like the way he's going and hitting the drums on that song is awesome. But you had that moment.
I think that I don't know. There's maybe too much female accompaniment on his albums, or especially on this one. To like, I don't know. It's just weird after listening to somebody for fucking. I know
that's what they're doing. That's the.
Well, no, they didn't do that though back then. Like there wasn't a lot of female accompaniment.
What was his last biggest hit?
Oh no! I'm not saying. I'm saying Marshall Mathers too. Like if they're trying to recreate that in terms of being a sequel, like especially with
there was that Marshall Stan. Stan was that was probably his bread and butter. Where it's like, man, when you go and do Eminem verses and then go bounce it out with a chick who sounds really really nice. Wow.
No, yeah. I mean, it's just more poppy now. Like the singing. It's I don't know. It's like I've been listening to the guy for 15 years, and I think that his attempt to return to something didn't work out as well as I thought it would. I mean, it just, and I think he's he's easily one of the best MCs to ever be. Yeah. And I just was not digging it, and maybe I haven't given enough listens. I don't know. I've kind of got out of the Eminem like listening to that much. Where I used to listen to it, fucking just.
It's gotten to the point where it's hard for me to listen to. Like album like Recovery, I can because that one is super autobiographical and
his wordplay changed up so much that I like it. Well, it's like fucking he has some really clever shit. Like Rap God had like he's like I got a laptop in my back pocket.
Yeah. Oh shit.
But call me Rap Bot. And some shit like that. And it was cool. Like he's got some fucking really cool ways to put some metaphors together. I think he changed and it's awesome.
He's an example, like,
but it's like trying to get back though. I was like,
right. And once again, an example of an MC because, like you said on like you were saying with Rap God, and he does it in other ones is he'll have these punchlines where he completely switches it up, and sometimes. Like that Rap Bot one where that works, or like when he does Asgard and Rap God, that one kind of works. Meanwhile, other times in Recovery where he's like, give a Vicodin to Bruce Wayne because I'm ready for combat, man. Kind of falls, but it goes back to that where it's like, dude, I've been doing this so long, we're gonna fucking experiment,
right?
Like
say some shit.
That's how you do it, like because he's got the experience.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and dude can do whatever he wants. Like, I think that Relapse was obviously that kind of experiment, pushing out, talking with that fucking crazy accent all the time. And
yeah, I think that was just getting the engine going.
Well, and I mean, he was going through some pretty heavy shit with Proof Dying, and it's understandable. I think it was a while before that album, there was a big span of time where he didn't make anything.
Well, I mean, that's when you're hearing all the stories about him being messed up. Fucking
yeah, and he talks about it a lot. And then, so, you do Relapse and you do Recovery, which is to be like, man, I'm kicking that shit.
Yeah, Recovery was basically
he says it like every fucking song, though. He's like, because I swear to God, I'm not going to fuck up again. Like, he says that every song. And I'm like, all right, we get it, man. Just fucking rap about some weird shit
That goes back to that therapy shit. I mean, like, that was one of my favorite parts in Recovery is when he goes and describes that whole like, that album to me sounds like an update of the span of time where he wasn't doing stuff and when he was doing Relapse. It's like, all right, this is what's going on over there. Like, he's got that Ozzy Osbourne sample song where he, talking about being fucked up after Proof died, stuff like that, and kicking it with people who, yeah, no, that sounds good because you're Eminem and you're partying because you're in mourning, and let's keep that shit going. Do it, dude, do it. I don't know. Interesting stuff, but like, it exemplifies something that when we started this conversation, I got detracted from that was in my head where all you guys over there talking about, I'm a rapper. No, I'm an MC. All this stuff. Stop worrying about that.
Just be
Start, put that energy over what you should be labeled to what you do, and ultimately let the people listening to you deal with those labels. It's not your deal.
Right.
Like, that's for other people to decide.
I hate
And
that fucking
you have to have the
thing,
confidence. You have to have the
haters.
confidence to put yourself out there to whatever they call it. Yeah.
You worry about I mean in that verse I was writing, it's like I have a line that coming up in a song that's about, fucking I got a way will escape people's ability to label me because I don't care first and foremost, and because I'll do it inherently because I'm going to change. And I know I'm going to change, I'm going to evolve, and so I won't be what I was yesterday, and I won't be I am not what I was yesterday, and I'm fucking not going to be the same tomorrow. And so it's like labeling me is about as useful as labeling like a fucking...
Well, that, and when you're paying attention to the label that you're given, you go ahead and limit yourself. Yeah. For example, like...
if you try to fit in that, then fuck.
Exactly. Like, I think that's something that Jay-Z and Nas, both of them do, which is they went and created this body of work, and some of it was self-perpetuated, especially in Jay-Z's case. But like Nas's case, where it's like, oh, you're the street scholar. That's you. And there's times where he'll put out an album where he's trying to be that, but you could tell that's not what's really going on with him. And when you go and kind of fulfill that label people giving you, like I said, you're boxing yourself in. Meanwhile, like, if you're sitting there, he's like, yeah, they're just saying all this, da-da-da, but you know what? Dude, I just want to go and do a live jazz album. That would be much better. Right. Or whatever the hell it is you want to do. If you sit there and, like, as a rapper, go and take yourself off of it to where, like, I don't see myself as a rapper or a producer. I see myself, if anything, on the beat, I see myself as an artist. Like, I go make stuff. Like, sometimes it's, I really will have done some, like, really nice work with different scales and stuff like that. Other times it's going to be simple, but that's what I liked. That's what got juices going for the next one, and go with it.
Exactly. I think that anything more specific than artists generally just kind of pisses me off. Like, yeah, I paint, and I rap and I write, but these are all under the umbrella of I'm just trying to express myself. And that's a big message in most of my music, is just fucking, you only live once. Why not say something about, like, how you feel? Maybe it changes some, like, it everybody's perspective locked up sucks, If let's say there's just an elephant in the room and there's 20 people in the room, and everybody's got a hand on it, right? But nobody wants to say anything about it. Yeah. Like, we're all trying to figure out this thing, what it is to be human, but a lot of people are too scared to tell you how they feel about it. And it's like, no, fuck that now. And I'm going to paint a picture and tell you, and I'm going to rap something, I'm going to make a beat to, and then I'm going to draw, I'm going to mold you. Like, I'm going to show you exactly how I feel. I don't know why I feel the compulsion to do it, other than the fact that I can, and no other animal on the planet can. Like,
exactly. Like,
and no other person can express what I feel because I feel it.
Yeah. Like, for example,
just the
it
most
could
valid
be really
thing in the world.
Yeah. Like, if you wanted to, and if you weren't in it for the right reasons, and more about marketing and stuff like that, yeah, dude, you could totally go off of, like, do the flying spiders thing. I don't really cuss a lot and like that, and, like, go and set yourself up as, oh, well, I'm a steward of the true school, all this stuff, this goes, this, that, and all the other thing. And marketing, that looks great. But if you wake up one morning and you're like, dude, I just want to do this, like, completely destructionist, dirty song where it's like messing more with sounds, and I got these emotions, and, like, I want to cuss over it and stuff like that, well, now you would have limited yourself to do it.
Right.
But as an artist, it's like
that a lot of times. I felt like that, like, when I was recording a song that's gonna be a spider song, and it's like I have somewhere where I say fuck, I say this fucking town, and I say something like, I just change it to, like, this messed up town, and then it doesn't sound as raw and stuff. But so I mean, that's what I was gonna do. I noticed that I had a swear in there. I was like, I don't want to record a swear on my album.
Well, that's a.
And I was like, but then I was like,
are you talking about your album or for Flying Spider song?
Well, it's a Flying Spider song now, and it's not gonna have a swear in there for spiders, because spiders, there is an idea behind spiders about being listenable by everybody. But at the same,
which is different.
But
because
when I
that's
was
more
when
you
I was
guys setting up your own code for this
exactly,
project.
I mean, yeah, exactly. And so that's the rule book on that. When I was recording it by myself, I was thinking like, do I want to swear in here? I recorded it swearing, and then I was like, well, I can go in and do another take. We can just kick right in with it. It'd be super simple. But I was like, no. Fuck it. Yeah, this fucking town. I fucking hate this fucking town sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's exactly right. Like, I've been actually, some of the stuff I've been writing lately, I swear. Like, there's something I'm working on right now where I swear, like, the first fucking line I'm swearing.
Yeah.
And I don't, it's weird because I try to police myself when I'm just having a conversation. I don't like to swear that much. And I kind of have to for the job I'm working now when talking to these kids to try to really limit.
Good call.
It's fucking hard at times because I fucking swear a lot.
Yeah.
but I try to restrict it because I think that it shows there's kind of a weakness in falling back on that kind of speech all the time.
Yeah. No, I kind of wish I had that in my life because work I do, circles I kick it in, swearing's not a problem, that sort of thing. But I kind of wish I had something where I limited where I couldn't swear. That and on the podcast, like, it's internet. We have no radio station. So I take pride in going, fuck. All right. But I do wish I had that because that's different. That's not necessarily like censoring yourself.
Right.
That's knowing how to act, knowing
Restricting
how to
your behavior
gauge the
because
situation.
Yeah. And, I don't know, at the times in my life where I swore the most, you catch yourself kind of thinking really hard when you're talking to somebody that you can't swear to.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to swear to your friend's mom.
Like when I was in the military, I was in Coast Guard in Alaska. So I'm a sailor. I have a mouth like a sailor.
Yeah.
First,
you have an excuse too.
Like,
That's awesome.
and I never realized it until first time I came home. Like I've been gone for months, and you get in all these situations where it's direct. It's not a macho environment, but it's a direct work environment. And then I get home, like on leave or whatever, and like see my mom, and I swear to God, like give her a hug, and like first thing is like, I fucking love you. She's like, what? I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, like dude, like
who am I?
Yeah,
like,
no,
what
not
have I
even that,
become?
but it's like I've gotten a little slacky on this. Like, okay, and that's different because it's not censoring. It's just about being precise about message you're getting across, how you want it perceived, and understanding whether you mean it or not, the connotations people are going to put in that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm using that as a reference as to personal aspects, but as per being an MC,
there's also choice like what I want to say to people.
Yeah, you're performing out of school. Don't drop it. Be the MC. Know you're performing out of school, knowing you have different aspects to yourself that you enjoy, but which ones to go press upon.
It's like when we were rapping at the Mac Theater, and like it was like there's like a little kid right in front of me. I'm like, I'm not swearing in front of you. And I was freestyling a lot too, and I was like really policing myself, and I was like, oh, it was like shit inside. I was just like shit. Like this little kid with fucking a bright orange T-shirt with a pumpkin on it, and just like big eyes, like looking at Psalm and the band, and it's like,
that's cool.
And I was like, all right, kids, like,
because you have the professional knowledge to know that if you could be going, you're having this whole thing, and then like you had a line come up to you in the middle of the freestyle, and you say shit or you drop an F-bomb, that with those people there, that perception is going to change. Right. It's no longer what it was. It was like, oh, okay.
If there's anything, I want to be understood, right? Like, well, that was, somebody had said that before, like, if you do anything, just try to understand. Like, don't judge so much. But at the same time, people judge you off what you do, I think, and what you say, right? And so I want to make sure people know what I'm talking about and where I'm coming from. And I think obviously swearing sometimes is just not proper.
Yeah.
You got to be proper with your shit.
Other times it is. Other times it is. Like, you're sitting there, you're at a club show, and, like, let's say you're at a local club show, it's the middle of winter, and nowhere in the city is stuff getting plowed or something like that. Like, if you sit there and sit there and spitting where it's like, I ain't got no hard hat, but on the mic right now I'm working it. Yo, you know what? Fuck our current public services.
Right.
That's the right time to cuss because everyone's feeling that. It's the same thing, and that gets it across.
I feel that.
You know? Yeah, that's what it is. All right. Wow, that went by quick today.
Yeah, is that what we got on time right now?
I think we're at about an hour. It's about 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So this has been episode 7.
Wow.
My name is Sam.
Goonie Google. My name is Nobe.
Yep. Bulls open mics. Revolver Tuesday nights with MJ. I stopped by that about a week or so ago. Super cool. What do you got going on, man?
Chilling. Just got open mic tonight. I'm probably gonna roll out to MJ's open mic tomorrow. Got spider practice coming up. Getting this May 16th show ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be cool.
So be ready for that, guys. My stuff probably dropping into April, beginning of May. Cool. Peace.
Peace.